Hi everybody, this is Christina from Initiative Tabletop. This is fall. It's one of my favorite seasons of the year. My husband and I and friends, we like to go camping. But imagine this. You're getting your campsite set up. You're getting your tent up and you're hammering in the last stake. And you hear a rustling in the woods. And you look over your shoulder to see bears. Lots and lots of bears. Who will survive the bear attack? And who will get eaten? Bears is a game by Fireside Games. It's 2 to 4 players. It's about 20 minutes. It's a very interesting game that's fast and furious, where you're trying to pair dice to determine how well you're doing during this bear attack. Let's take a look inside the box and I'll show you how the game works. So this is everything that you get in the box of bears. These, lots of dice. This is a dice rolling game after all. So I'm just going to set these extra aside. So I've actually set this up for a 2-player game. You have the dice, but you also have these nice score reminder cards, because this is a dice pairing game. So let me show you these dice. You have these campsite dice. So you've got tents, and you've got bears. And then everybody has their player dice. You have gun, you have a runner, you have a sleeping tent. The rule book for bears is pretty simple. It's a fold out rule book. Lots of illustrations. Back to front. So it's not a very big rule book, but it's really perfect. It has everything you need in this rule book without going overboard on explaining rules. It's perfect. So what you're going to do, I've set this up again for a 2-player game, which is 5 of the campsite dice per person. So these are just going to go in here. These will get shaken up, and they'll get put in the center. What's going to happen, out here, you have the tents and you have the bears. Now, people are going to sit here and they're going to roll their dice, and they're going to try to pair these up. So for instance, I could take this tent, I can move it with this runner. On the scorecard, it shows that that's 2 points. I've got a sleeping bag. So I could put somebody sleeping in the tent. I've got a gun. I can show somebody shooting a bear with a gun. Got a runner. He can go inside a tent. And I got another runner, so he goes inside a tent. And again, these are all on your score reminder cards. All the different pairing options. This round ends because we both will be grabbing as quick as we can until either all the bears are gone or all the tents are gone. When that happens, the person who grabbed the last bear, the last tent, yells bears. And then everybody stops and they count the score on these dice to determine how well they did that round. If you do have an invalid bear, meaning if you chose to shoot somebody in the tent, well, then you get a negative point. Also, one thing to note, I'd show the sleeping bag. If there are no bears left in the campsite, then if you have this pairing, you gain 5 points. If there are all the tents are gone and what's left is bears, then it's a negative 2 points per pairing. So you have to be really cautious whenever you're using those sleeping bags. They can help or they can hurt you. And that's basically how the game works. You can re-roll these player dice as much as you want. The campsite dice are only rolled once per round. And you go until 100 points or 50 points depending on how long you want the game. Let's show you a round in progress.
Bears.
And then we stop and we count up our points. We have no bears out here, so I gain 5 points for that. 2 points from each runner. These that didn't get paired up, they don't count. So I have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you have
1.
1 point. So this will keep going on, and we'll keep tallying up our score just on a scratch sheet of paper to the person who either gets to 50 or 100, depending on how long you want the game to go. So that's Bears. As you see, it's a dice rolling frenzy. It's a really fun game. It's a game that you could teach anybody how to play. In a matter of a minute or two, you can let them go through a practice round. It's a fun game that you can play with a variety of ages and a variety of groups. People who, aren't really into super complicated games can easily get a hang of this game. It's a fun game. The rulebook lays out everything very nicely. It's really easy to learn, and it's so much fun. It's really addicting. So if you get the chance, you should check out Bears. And keep checking out Initiative Tabletop. And may the dice roll in your favor.